me about the weirdest dream you've had that you don't actually think was a dream at all. I'll go first. About 7 years ago, I had a friend pass away. 6 months after he passed away, he visited me in a dream. Though it wasn't like any dream I've ever had before, and I am convinced I'm not a religious person or anything, but I was certainly visited by a spirit guide. I am wholly convinced that that was what visited me. Told several of my friends this story through Facebook messages. This is in 2017. And I'll share those right here, what those Facebook messages said. But basically, I was standing next to my bed. This was like the dream. I was standing next to my bed, and there was a woman in all white. She had brown hair. She was like maybe 5'6" or something. She looks at me, and it was so weird because it was as if we were talking, like having a conversation, but no words were being exchanged. She puts her hand on my shoulder. She stands behind me, puts her hand on my shoulder, and all of a sudden in my room is my friend that passed away. And he's wearing what he was wearing at his wake, which is so freaky. And he says, "Hey bud, how's it going?" Something like that. And then I ran into his arms, like crying, and I kept saying, "I'm so sorry," just for the way that he passed away. I was like, "I'm so sorry." And he's like, "It's okay, bud." And I'm like, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "I don't know. You're the first person they've let me see." Oh my god, I just got chills. And I think I said something like, "Who?" And then the lady put her hand on my shoulder again, and I just like jolted awake. And I'm not wholly convinced that was a dream, so let me know if you guys want to hear any of my other freaky stories, because I certainly have quite a few. Think was a dream at all.
So I once had a character in a dream tell me that I would, if I didn't find a way to wake up. And that's not even the crazy part. So I had this routine with my mom where 5 days a week, every time she'd go to work, she would come home at 12 for her lunch break, and we would hang out. We would eat together. We'd watch like a judge show, like Judge Judy or something. We'd hang out, and then she'd go back to work. So this one day I decided to take a nap, and I'm like, I'm not gonna set an alarm because she'll be home like in an hour or something like that, and she'll wake me up. Normal day. So I go to sleep. I realize that I'm asleep because I'm in an airport and I'm with a group of people, and like we're going on a trip somewhere. I don't usually travel with people. I always travel alone. So I think that's what kind of like set it off in my brain, that I was like, oh, I'm sleeping, so I'm just gonna vibe, right? So I started to notice a pattern of extremely highly stressful situations happening back to back to back, and I wasn't really giving it that energy. So we're running through the airport. We missed the flight, which normally would freak me out. Didn't. I decided to go with it. I'm like, hey, let's rent a car. I'm just going with it. So we can't find the car rental place, and then I end up getting separated, and being in large crowds by myself is already a highly stressful situation in a highly stressful environment already. So normally this would have sent me into a panic in real life, but I was just going with it. So I'm going down this escalator, that's what it's called, escalator. And I look down, and I realize that the bottom of the escalator is just disintegrating. It's just falling apart. Everything's falling down into just darkness. So there was no other situation being created. It was just darkness. And there's a blur of people, the same way that it would be in an airport, with just people just coming and going and coming and going. And I notice one guy off the side who's looking at me, and he's completely still. He's dressed in all black. He stands out from everybody else. So I see him see me, and I'm like, shit. So I'm just trying to like sing songs to myself to wake myself up. And if you're familiar with my content, if you've seen any of my lucid dreaming videos, I kind of tell people how to do it in a safe way or not to do it, things like that. So if you've seen any of those videos, then you know I say I'll sing a song over and over and over until I wake up, because your brain has no choice but to kind of wake you up. But that wasn't working. So he looks over at me, and he's like, you know, if you don't find a way out of here, you're stuck. And I'm like, what are you even talking about? He's like, if you here, you're gonna be stuck here too, so you better find a way to wake yourself up. So I'm like, I'm not really tripping, because my mom's gonna be home soon. She's gonna wake me up. So if I can't wake myself up, she's gonna wake me up. And he's like, no, she's not coming home today, so you better figure it out. And he comes off as like really concerned, but like, I can't help you, you better figure it out. So I'm freaking out. I'm singing the song over and over. I'm not waking up. I'm crying and screaming. until I was screaming, help me, until like I just held on to that like help. And I woke up gasping for air because I stopped breathing. And I'm crying and I'm freaking out. Now, this could have been my brain trying to find a way to wake me up, my anxiety manifesting, or something in the fact that I normally would have woken up in that stressful situation. But since I knew that I was dreaming, I didn't wake myself up. However, I checked my phone and sure enough, there's a message from my mom that I got after I'd fallen asleep telling me that she wasn't coming home because she was working through her lunch break. So I completely believe that if I wasn't able to wake myself up, that I would have. I just always felt like it was deeper than just a regular dream, but I don't know. I don't know.
I actually think was a dream at all.
So this is a true story. Like, this legitimately happened. I have a couple of witnesses, and there is a news article because, like, I know for a fact this wasn't just a dream. Like, everything that happened in my dream happened in real life. I just didn't know. But, like, the way this unfolded. So I go to sleep, and I just have a normal dream. I sleep throughout the whole night. And when I wake up, my boyfriend wakes up with me, and he's like, thank God you're up. Can we go get coffee? I slept like crap all night. I was up all night. I was actually getting kind of jealous because you look so damn peaceful. Like... So I'm like, yeah, I just had this crazy cliffhanger ending of a dream. I hate those. Let me tell you about it. He's like, all right, cool. So I'm making us coffee. We're sitting down getting comfy, and I'm telling him about my dream. I'm flying above the clouds. Eventually I get bored, and I'm like, is it an ocean, a city? What's underneath me? So I go through the clouds, and I notice I am over an ocean. And directly under me, traveling in the same direction, is a bridge going into a city. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I get closer and closer, and I notice there's actually a car traveling the same everything but altitude as me. And then I kind of scan further on the bridge now that it's coming more in view and I can see. There's only one other vehicle on this bridge. It's an 18-wheeler, and that's leaving the city. So they're going to pass each other. The problem, as I'm getting closer, I'm noticing this semi-truck is swerving a lot. And I'm like, ooh, this is not going to end well. So as fast as I can, I'm trying to get to this car. My idea is I'm going to make myself big and hug the car and protect it. The problem is when I got to the car, I couldn't make myself big. So I felt like I have to choose. I only have enough time for one thought, and that thought was, this baby is the only one in this scenario that has not had a chance to live. I finally make it to the car. I wrap my body around the exposed part of the car seat, and as soon as I grab onto the back of this car seat, instantly the baby starts screaming in my face. And I'm like, thank God, baby's okay. You know how in a dream you just know things without having to look at them? Something in me said, Mom didn't survive this. And then I kind of tried to focus on the truck, and it looked like the driver was passed out on his steering wheel. He was barely hanging on, but he was alive. I, out of sheer panic, I just start screaming, help us, someone please help us. And then boom, I wake up. So I share this with him, and he's like, you're weird and you have weird dreams. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Literally 2 minutes later, my sister calls, and she's like, hey, I'm off today. I'm like, oh, cool, we are too. And she's like, oh, well, put me on speaker. I'm reading news articles and I want somebody to talk to about them. I'm like, all right, go ahead. She picks a random ass article. Tell me why. This article was my fucking dream. It was about a car accident that happened on a bridge in New York, like 2, 3 a.m. Mind you, I'm in Michigan. My boyfriend was up all throughout the night. I was here. I was in my bed in Michigan dreaming, okay? There's no way I could have been on this bridge at 2, 3 a.m. and made it back to my bed, even if he was sleeping through the night. And just imagine he kept, I still wouldn't have made it here on time to wake up and have coffee and get this phone call. I would not have been here on time. So my sister gets through the article, and I explained to her my dream, because my boyfriend and I are just staring at us. He was terrified. I was shook, but not the same way that he was. My sister gets to the end, and she's like, somebody called 911, And even though it was only a couple of seconds they were on the phone because it got disconnected, they sent emergency services to that location, and they were able to save the truck driver and the infant. They were able to save them, you guys. So they post this clip because they're trying to find who it is that called, because essentially that's the person that saved these lives. So they want to thank them appropriately. We were not prepared. My sister hits play. Tell me why we hear my voice screaming, help us, someone please help us. And then right after that, when I wake up, same time that call ended. This is a very, very true story. It happened like 10, 11 years ago. I do not have the article anymore, or I would insert here. But yeah, no, that really happened. And I can't explain it. 10, 11 years later. What was that?
Actually think was a dream at all.
And all of a sudden, I'm at one of my grandmother's famous parties. I knew two things. One, the party hadn't started yet. Two, I hadn't seen my grandma. And there were hundreds of people at this party. It was quite grand. The room was decorated, and they all started walking towards me. And the first woman comes towards me, tries to give me a hug. She has tears in her eyes, and she says, "Sorry." And I was like, "Oh, it's okay, like everything's fine." And she seemed even more upset when I said that. And she kind of faded back into the crowd, and the next person would come out, and they just seemed so sad. And I was getting a sad vibe from the whole room, but I was very much welcomed at this party. And then, next person would try to give me a hug or a handshake, and again say, "Sorry." And I would try to reassure them that everything's okay. And I'm walking through this party, and all of a sudden I caught the stare of this gentleman in the corner. And the feeling I got when I saw this man, is indescribable. Like unconditional love. I knew him. Like I absolutely 100% knew who he was, but I couldn't remember who he was. And I was so excited to see him. We gave each other a big hug, and I'm just like, I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. And he quiets down, he looks right at me, and he says, "Sorry." And I go, what are you talking about? Like, you're here. This is incredible. Like, I can't believe it. I can't remember who this man is, but what are you talking about? Sorry. And he goes to squeeze my hand, and he squeezes it hard, and he looks at me again, and he says, "No, I am so sorry." And it was just enough to make me go, "What is this? What is going on? What is this?" And at that exact moment, my grandmother comes out, puts her hands on my shoulders, looks me dead in the eye, and says, "You poor thing." And I wake up to the sound of my dog screaming in this bed. And he jumps off the bed, and I'm just like kind of woken up, and I get up, and I'm like, "What? Is everything okay, Blue Blue? Is everything okay?" And he's trying to wag his tail, and he's walking around the room, and I can't remember what I just dreamt about. I'm trying to, but I'm also trying to make sure Blue's okay. I let the dogs out to go for breakfast, to potty while I make their breakfast. I'm trying to remember what I just dreamt about, and mid-pour it shot back to me, and all of a sudden I knew why they all were saying sorry. I ran outside, and my dog had already collapsed, and I rushed him to the ER, and there was nothing that could be done. And he had cancer. I didn't even know about that, but he was going into cardiac arrest, and there I was, signing papers in the middle of an ER room. I couldn't believe it. I remember getting out to the parking lot, and I'm just trying to get to my truck and keep it together, and I just collapsed. I collapsed in the center of the parking lot, just crying. And the first thing I hear is a woman's voice, and she says, "I'm so sorry." That was Blue's welcome home party. It just hadn't started yet.
I fell in love with this girl in my dream once, and the connection was so strong that I'm convinced it wasn't a dream. It was such a simple dream. I honestly don't even think there were any verbal interactions, but I was in New York, and you know those kiosks where they sell gum and vapes and like drinks or whatever the fuck they sell there. I'm like walking with this girl, and she buys me a dagger. I don't even know if she buys it. She just stops at one of those. They give her a dagger. She gives it to me. She sticks my hand out like this. She puts it in the palm of my hand, and then she like closes my fingers, and it's just like an energetic understanding that I'm gonna need the dagger for something. I'm like, okay, cool. So then we keep walking, but I'm trying to understand the dagger as like we're walking, and she's walking pretty fast, and she gives almost like warrior vibes. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I know that might sound kind of like messed up or kind of stereotypical, but no, she just gave, like, her energy was like, I'm here to protect you, but I also need you to protect you, and like, you know. And I was just really fucking confused and kept on staring at the dagger, and then she kept on walking faster, and then I tried to keep up, and we were like, she was like here and I was like there, so it was like we weren't even like that far away from each other. But then we walked past this restaurant where like a bunch of people just start coming out. Like, I'm talking about a herd of people, ridiculous amounts of people that probably don't even fit in a restaurant start coming out. And so then I'm barely able to see her face through the cracks as she's still kind of like looking back at me, like through the cracks of the crowd. And then I'm still trying to kind of like get a hold of her and kind of be like, wait, hold on, and then I just end up losing her completely after that. And then I woke up. And I woke up feeling so sad and so lonely. And mind you, I'm in a relationship right now, and my relationship is great. But like, I woke up feeling longing, like I was missing something, or like I don't even know how to fully describe it. It felt, but specifically, like I was missing this connection to this girl specifically. And I just remember feeling like, how could I miss somebody that I've never even met? And honestly, I think I was pretty like nostalgic and a little bit glum for the rest of that day. And then, you know, I just kind of had to be like, bro, it was a dream. Like, but for some reason I just couldn't control the real feelings that were lingering from that. And yeah, I just feel like dreams don't do that, right? Like, they leave lingering feelings, but to leave a longing connection afterwards, I just feel like I might have lived a quick little life in an alternate reality, or maybe it's a future thing, or maybe I was living a different life or something. I couldn't see my reflection anywhere. Like, maybe I was a lover of hers or something, and I was just in another being's like life, or who knows. It was just, I don't think it was a dream.
When I was 19 years old, I was offered to actually study theater in Japan. But unfortunately, it fell through because my mother was unemployed and she would not sign off. And she said, who is going to pay the bills in the house? Who's going to take care of the things in the house? And so it fell on me. So I never got that opportunity. That being said, now we're back to 2015. My husband is out at work, and I have just finished cleaning, and I decided to lay down, take a little nap. And so I close my eyes, and the next thing I know, I'm opening my eyes and I'm in blackness. Complete blackness, but there's stars all around. And I look and I'm like, have I, because I'm it feels real, but I'm in blackness with stars. And suddenly I hear this voice that comes out of nowhere, and it says, I waited for you. I waited a long time, and you never came. The life we could have had. And then, woof, it was like I suddenly wound up, and I was 19, walking down the streets of Japan, and I had a little map, and I'm looking around, and I see this young guy coming, because I'm seeing different people, and this young guy, and he's dressed in all black. And I look, and I kind of like jump in front of him, and I'm like, sumimasen. And I'm trying to point to the map, and he looks at me like, and he's like, And so he starts showing me like where to go. And think of it this way, like movie cutscenes. What happens is this: next I run into him again, and we just kind of nod to each other. And then another time I run into him again. And we kind of smile and nod at each other. And then by the fourth time, I run into him and he kind of stands in front of me and he looks and he goes, and he's nervous and he goes, you, me, eat? Would you eat with me, with the me? And I said, okay, you're a little young, because he looked younger than me. And he was like, no. It's okay. And so we go to eat. And the next thing I know, we start laughing and joking. And then we're listening to music together. And then the next thing I know, we're getting married. And we get married. And I have on all red and this looks beautiful. And then the next thing I know, I realize he's a musician. He's playing music and doing different things, and I'm still working in art and working in theater. Then we have a blowout argument. He looks like he's around 23 and I'm about 25 or 26. And what it was is that he cheated on me. And so I told him, get out, and it was over. And then imagine the cut scene, like a few years later, you suddenly see my friends, our friends, saying, oh, he's not doing well, you should talk to him. And I was like, oh, I don't think so. So that was over. And then it's supposedly 8 years have gone by. I run into him at an event and he turns to me and he's like, please, forgive me. I said, please, I'm sorry. He says, it's not cheating. And I said, it was cheating. He said, I didn't rub her. I said, you rubbed her. He said, no, I didn't. And it became this whole thing. And this is how you should have known it was a dream. I took him back. Yeah, I took him back. So we get back together, and this time he is stuck under me like glue. Everywhere I go, he's there. Everywhere I go, he's there. We're just like bonded together, and we've, worked it out and forgiven each other. And then suddenly I'm like, woof. I realize he's written me a song and he's showing me a song. And the song is called Taiyo no Iko or Taiyo no Iku. I'm not sure which one it is, because I don't speak Japanese, but I did obviously when I was with him, but in real life, I don't. But he wrote this song for me, and the song became popular and was played all over Japan. And after that, he becomes a songwriter. And then whoosh, we go forward. I'm about 32. We have a daughter named Miko. And her real name is like Kumiko, but we call her Miko. And then whoosh, we go further. And he is on the red carpet. I'm standing next to him. And, we're answering questions. And I'm no longer in theater. I'm just like doing art and things like that. Then whoosh, we go further. Miko's getting married. She's getting married, and she's marrying a guy who actually does pottery, and they're going to move out to the countryside because that's where he works. And my husband is like, we should move out there. We should move with them, move nearby. So that way we leave from where we are and we move out to the countryside, and then whoosh, go further. Now I'm aging. I'm like 60, and I literally have a granddaughter. And she's so cute. And I have a little granddaughter. And then whoosh, the next thing I know, I'm a little older and we're walking down some sort of like red carpet event with like gray walls. And he's getting a Lifetime Achievement Award for him being a musician and songwriter, and mostly songwriter. And I have been the one painting his covers, the covers of his albums. And behind us is one of my paintings. It's like this brown tree with like cherry blossoms. And then whoosh, we go further, and I see myself older, and I'm in the yard and I'm working in my garden, and I look up and he's smiling over at me as he's picking up something. And I go in my kitchen, and there's wood walls in the kitchen, and there's a big window with this beautiful countryside. And then whoosh, we go further, and we're elderly, and he receives a Lifetime Achievement Award for all of the songs he's written. And then woof, next thing I know, we're both walking and he's helping me, and I'm telling him I feel so tired. I just feel tired. And he tells me, let's sit on the bench. And so we sit on the bench, and he puts his feet up on the bench, puts his head on my lap, and I'm like, I'm like, you don't do that in public. And he's like, oh, we're old. Doesn't matter, we're old. We can do what we want. You're like that. So he puts his head on my lap, and I'm looking at him touching his hair, and I'm thinking, my God, after all this time, he's still so handsome. And I look up at the clouds, and it's blue, and it's such a beautiful sunny day. And I'm like, my God, what a beautiful life I lived. It's so beautiful. And the next thing I know, I'm suddenly looking down at us on the park bench. I see me, an old lady, and him with his head on my lap. And there's people all over, and it's sunshine and green grass and flower petals just falling from all the trees. And then I'm back into the darkness again. And I'm like, and I hear, I waited for you. I'm sorry, I can't wait anymore. But I waited for you. And then I was back in my bed. And I just sat there and I was like, Miko. And I'm looking around. I'm like, where's my husband? Which I never got his name. I don't even remember his name. And I just looked around and I was like, no. And I started crying. I started bawling. I could not believe what had just happened. It was like I had just lived an entire life and I was back in my little home. And I was like, what happened? Where are they? And to this day, I have never gotten over that. Still haven't gotten over that. I don't know who he is. Their faces are all blurs. But it felt like I literally lived an entirely different life in just a dream. And it felt so real. Did I jump dimensions? Did I shift to something? Was it just a crazy dream? I don't know. But it was so realistic. And I'll never forget it, and I'll never get over it. Thank you for listening. Peace and blessings.
Film this, and I have Kovu, my storytelling buddy, with me. I have this crazy dream experience where from the ages of about 8 to 11, I was having this reoccurring dream that ended up really changing my beliefs and the trajectory of my life. So from about 8 to 10, 11 years old, I'm having this reoccurring dream, and it will go through a specific part of the dream, and of course I'll wake up, and then a few months later it'll pick up where it left off. We get to the end of the dream a few months later, it starts over again. And in this dream, I am in what I now believe is Europe during the witch trials, and I'm seeing everything from my perspective as if I am there and I am living it. And it starts with me looking down at my hands, and I am preparing some form of herbal medicine. And there is a woman sitting next to me, and she has come to me because she needs something to help her calm down. I remember reaching and grabbing chamomile, and I'm in the shed that's in my backyard. And I look to my right, and I just see eyes peeking through the window, looking at me, and then they take off running when they see that I have seen them. So immediately, my heart sinks. I know what probably just occurred. I tell the woman I think I was just caught. I tell her I think that she will be fine. Oh, storyteller buddy has left, but he was with us for the beginning. And I finish her remedy. I give her a hug. She tells me she hopes everything's going to be okay. I tell her don't worry about it. She pays me. She gives me a few coins. And then I send her away and immediately go and grab my go bag that I have already packed in case something like this were to occur. I get my go bag and I immediately take off running into the woods that are behind my house. And I would run for what felt like forever. There would be nights where the entire dream would just be me running through these woods until I finally get to an abandoned building that's in the middle of the woods. And I go into this abandoned building and I look to my left and I see my cousin. And it is my cousin that I have in real life now, but in real life, my cousin is several years older than me. And in this dream, she's several years younger than me and is only like a 8 to 10-year-old child that was my age when I was having this dream. And she has fallen and she's hurt in her head and is clearly bleeding. And I go to her and I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? What happened? Are you okay? And she tells me she fell when she was running in the woods, and she came straight there because she knew I would be there. And then she starts crying and she goes, it was me, I'm so sorry, I turned you in, it was me, I'm the reason that they know. And so I take a deep breath and I tell her, it's okay, calm down. I know that they probably were questioning you and you were scared, and I'm not mad at you, and I forgive you, and everything's gonna be okay. And I rip a piece of my dress off, I cover her wound, and I give her a hug, and I say, you need to go home if you're feeling okay. You need to go back to your mom, because if anyone comes looking for me, I don't want you here getting yourself into trouble. So I give her a hug, tell her everything's gonna be okay again, and I send her off, and then I unpack. I try to settle my nerves, because my plan is to continue running when the sun rises the next day. And I settle in for the night. The sun begins to set. I fall asleep. I wake up in the middle of the night to the sound of people outside talking, and I know I've been caught. And I remember this frantic feeling and running around, searching in this abandoned building, trying to find a back exit or a back window, and I can't find a way out. And I accept I'm gonna have to, not be taken by force or anything. So I go out the front door, I turn myself in, I say that they can take me. Long story short, I'm found guilty, there's witnesses, I'm deemed a witch and sentenced to death. Trigger warning, I do see the way that I pass in this dream. I remember walking out and stepping up on a stool, and I have a bag put over my head and a rope around my neck. And the dream would always end with me feeling them removing the stool and everything tightening, and I would wake up gasping for air. And of course, I'm really young. I tell my mom about these dreams. Anytime they're happening again, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had the dream again. And my mom validates me, and she totally believes me and thinks it's really bizarre. Fast forward, I'm in like 8th grade, and I go to the local crystal store with my aunt and my cousin. This is a different cousin than the one that's in the dreams, and my mom. We love this crystal store. We go there all the time, and this is the first time we walk in. There's a sign that says past life readings. My cousin immediately gets excited and is like, oh my gosh, we have to do this. I have this ghost that I see all the time. I really want to learn more about it. Let's go and talk to him. So we sit down to talk to him. We have this wonderful conversation about her experiences, and he gives her all these incredible details and facts. And then he looks at me and he goes, I'm getting a vibe from you. What's going on with you? I'm sensing something. Immediately the dream pops into my head, and I say, well, I have been having this really bizarre reoccurring dream. I start telling him about the dream. We get to the point where I'm on the run. He stops me and is able to tell me everything that happens in my dream in great detail, down to the color of my cousin's hair, which by the way is red. My hair's not red. I have no idea where he would have pulled that out from. He knows that she's hurt herself. He knows all these minute details. We go back and forth. I keep giving him details. He feeds me back more details, and it is this insane experience. I'm completely baffled. And he says, yeah, I believe that these are memories of your past life. You are remembering what happened to you and how you passed away in your past life. And ever since then, it has really, I don't want to say changed the trajectory of my life, but definitely really hit my core and stuck with me and changed some of my beliefs, and has been a really incredible experience. And I've never had the dream again since we got to the bottom of that, but I obviously still think about it a lot. And that's my dream, that I guess was memories, not a dream.
That you don't actually think was a dream at all.
I accidentally entered the back rooms. Well, at least I'm assuming I did. So the dream started off with me in a school setting. Now this is weird because as young as I may look, I graduated high school 2 years ago. And in this dream, there was this person. Now this person was of Mayo descent. This is the best way that I can put it. I don't have no Mayo friends. She had like really light blonde hair. And again, I don't have no friends that fit that description. But she was my friend in the dream. It was really weird. So she like meets me in the hallway and she's like, yo, we need to go on an adventure. And I'm like, an adventure to where? Now to dream me, these adventures are normal. Well, they seem normal at least. Me now though, me awake, I don't go on adventures. I don't know what she was talking about. But I go, what adventure? She goes, yo, I discovered this house, but it's not really a house. I go, what you mean? She goes, outside is a house, inside there's a whole different world. And like, she just seems so amazed, so interested. And I'm like, bro, what you talking about? Curiosity gets the best of me. We end up skipping school, going to this house. We go to this house. It's abandoned. There's nothing. Everything's empty. There's furniture and shit in there, but the furniture has white sheets over it like it's packed up. So she ends up taking me up the stairs. As we're going up the stairs, I'm looking around. Everything is empty, but there's hella fucking rooms. I'm looking at this shorty like, what rich person you know? She ends up leading me into this room. This room, there's nothing in it. It's blank except for the wall. The wall, there is just a regular wall, except there's like something like there's like a window cut out of it. And in the window, there's a TV. Attached to that TV is a little lever that you have to pull down. She goes, pull the lever. I go, why? He goes, just pull it. I pull it, and three little, like a slot game kind of shows up. And three little options shows up. And there's like all these little different symbols. I can't even remember the symbols no more. But there's all these different symbols. And then three symbols line up. The three symbols don't match though. I forgot, it was like a skull, it was like a disco ball, and it was something else. Next thing you know, when we open the door, we're in an arcade. We're walking, we're going, everything's cool, right? I end up fighting the security room, which is crazy because who ends up being a security guard like 3 months later. I end up finding the security room. Security is just like, there's like mad and in the room, like spread out everywhere. So I'm just like, oh, like I'm asking questions like, are y'all private security? Do y'all work for the club? Because the club is also an arcade at the same time. So I'm just like, well, fuck, an arcade need this much security for? So they're just putting me on, and they show me the monitor, the security monitor. Security monitor, there's nothing of the arcade. Everything is a different room. So I'm just like, okay, cool. And I walk out. Shorty ends up, as soon as I walk out of the security shit, Shorty runs to me. She goes, we gotta go. I go, what happened? She goes, we gotta leave now. I go, okay, whatever. So she grabs my hand and we start running. When we start running, we open the door. When we open the door, we end up in the supermarket. At this point, I've already realized when we hit the supermarket, this is where I fucked up. Because if you know anything about a back room, you're not supposed to know you're in the back room. I fucking woke up in my dream. Like, I'm not woken up in real life. I'm woken up in the dream and I go, I'm in a back room, aren't I? My heart sinks to my ass because at this point, I'm awake. Everything in the fucking supermarket starts throwing itself. The shelves start closing in. It starts trying to keep us inside. She starts running. She's running. She goes, go through the door, run through the door. So I run through the supermarket door. And as she's trying to run through, it's like an invisible force. It won't let her out. I try to run back. I'm like, bro, I can't leave her behind. And then my sister grabs me. Like my older sister, and she goes, you can't go back. And as she's telling me I can't go back, the girl that's trapped in the supermarket is banging on the shit, talking about, I should have never brung you here. I should have never came back. Something told me to never come back. And then my sister yanks me into this bright light, and I woke up. And ever since then, I've been petrified of going to sleep.
I don't actually think was a dream at all. I'll go.
So first of all, excuse the hair. I'm getting ready to do my hair, but I wanted to tell you about this weird dream that I have, which happened about 2 days ago. So I was at my sister's house. This is real life. I was at my sister's house and I was supposed to be up at 8 o'clock, but my body woke me up around 4 because I heard a noise. And so I realized it was only 4 o'clock. So I tried to go back to sleep. As I'm going back to sleep, I'd say within a few seconds, I fell in a deep sleep. Then in the sleep, I see that I am up and I'm still in the same exact place where I was, where I fell asleep. Everything was literally almost like it was daylight because the windows were open. Well, not the windows, but the blinds. So I looked over at the clock and it's 11 a.m. And mind you, in real life, I'm supposed to be up at 8. So I'm freaking out like, oh my God, I overslept. I only wanted to sleep for maybe 2 more hours, you know? So then I started seeing like shadow people and I was sleeping in the living room. And if you look over where the clock was, it's the kitchen. So around the kitchen, I kept seeing like little figures just running around in the living room. So I'm like, what the heck? Or by she has a table that's very close to the kitchen and they're running around the table behind each other. But I don't think they expect people to see them because they're shadow figures. So then I saw them. I was like, what the hell is this? And then they went from being shadow figures to actual people. So like they took the shape of actual people, but they were 2 little girls. They were just 2 little girls giggling and running behind each other. But I guess they've been in that house for such a long time, they didn't expect people to see them. But I saw them, so then they took their actual form. So then I'm like, hey guys, I'm talking to them because I'm not really afraid of like angels or spirits or anything like that. So like I said, God, I just woke up, so excuse the look because y'all know I was coming here with face beat, hair done, everything. So anyway, so I'm like talking to them and they're telling me what's going on, that they've been living here for a long time, and there's all kids. I'm talking about like 8, 9, and 2 little girls. So when I woke up in my dream, and I want to go back in the dream, but when I woke up in my dream, I was wondering whether or not they were real little girls that actually died in that house, or if they were supposed to be like my angel babies. You know what I mean? Like you have dreams where you see like 2 little kids and you said, oh well, maybe I'm gonna have 2 boys or 2 girls, blah blah blah. But those, they felt real. So they held my hand and we were sitting, we're like in a squat, because I'm trying to talk to them and try to get to know them and stuff, and they're telling me about themselves, and they don't seem like, I'm not scared. I'm just talking to them like they were regular kids. And they hold my hands and we're talking, and they're telling me even about like what's going to happen, like the premonition of what's going to happen in the years to come after the presidency. I don't know why, like they started telling me about the presidency, how like Trump is going to win. And don't get me wrong, I'm not here to like debate about like the president and all that stuff. So don't come in the comment section. This is just a dream, guys. Calm down. So then they're like, oh yeah, Trump is going to win, but it's going to be really, really bad for black people. I was like, this is funny. This is weird. Like, why would 2 little kids want to tell me about that? And yeah, so they're like, yeah, it's going to get really hard. And then as soon as they started telling me, I'm like, yeah, tell me more. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And they started almost like getting angry, and they were both holding one of my hands, like my wrist. They were like holding my wrist, right? And they started squeezing my wrist. And then someone else woke up in the house and came to the living room, and they did not see the kids. They're sitting with me and they did not see them. And I'm like, shh, I'm telling them to hush because now they're talking, not the kids, but the people. It was like a lady that I don't even know that walked into the living room where I was sitting on the floor with the 2 kids. And she started talking. I'm telling her to hush so I can hear what the kids are saying. And they started getting angry and they literally just disappeared. They disappeared. And right there, I woke up from my dream. Like I woke up, I didn't get any other information. And like I said, regarding like the president thing, I don't know, maybe it's because I was reading something about Trump that night. That's why he appeared in the dream. But I'm not sure why that was part of the dream. But those 2 little girls, they felt real. My hands shaking because I'm holding the camera. They felt real. The dream felt so vivid. Like I've never felt anything like that. And even when I woke up, I felt something like a breeze or something. And I woke up. And when I woke up, it was like 7 a.m. It wasn't even 11. And I woke up way before my time. And my body just naturally woke me up. So, anyways, guys, I never even asked my sister if her house has like ghosts or anything because I don't want to scare her. She has like cameras everywhere. So, I actually wanted her to run the camera to see if she saw anything like hovering over me while I was sleeping. But yeah, that'd be cool to know. Or if those 2 little girls are supposed to be like my 2 daughters when I do have kids. That would be interesting. And if I do end up having kids and if I still have this channel still, I will keep you guys updated. I just thought it was a really, really interesting dream. So anyways, guys, talk to you all later. Bye.
Dream at all.
I'm Liz, and I'm actually a medium. So I am no stranger to ghosts and strange, silly things happening. So I've had at least a few dreams that I'm pretty sure were more than just dreams. But the one that really started it all for me was when I was really young. I mean, somewhere between the ages of like 3 and 5. I had this dream that I was somewhere, like out in the cosmos, just among the stars. And I was a disembodied self. It was me, but my body wasn't with me. And someone or someone's also disembodied selves bestowed upon me what I understood upon waking up to be like secrets of the universe. And although I can't remember what those secrets were that I was told, I just woke up with this feeling, this sense of knowing. And I think that's kind of what started it all for me, honestly. That's really when I just knew that there was more than this physical reality.
Tell me about the weirdest dream you've had that you don't actually think was a dream at all.
Yeah, my dream was I went to, I guess, the ghost realm and they tried to keep me there while I was dreaming. I was 3 years old. I was in a hospital. I had to get surgery for my polydactyly, which is me having extra fingers and toes. I had them on both of my hands and on my foot. They removed the extra fingers. I got a little nub right here. They removed the extra fingers at birth. However, I still needed to get the toe removed because I couldn't wear shoes or things like that, because I couldn't fit the toe unless they were too big. I couldn't fit my shoes with the extra toe, so I had to get it removed. And when I was in the hospital, I had a roommate, but the roommate went home earlier. It was a little girl that I knew, that I grew up with. Later on, we ended up being really good friends. However, she went home before I did, and I was still stuck there. I went to sleep. I woke up, but I could tell that I was still in a dream. I was dreaming. I woke up in my dream. Like I could see myself in the bed and I woke up. In the dream, I looked at myself. Oh, I'm dreaming. And I see, I got a roommate, another girl. And she was like, hey. And I'm like, oh, do you want to play with my Play-Doh? Because I had Play-Doh. I was a kid. I had Play-Doh in the room. She was like, no, I want to walk around the hospital. So I followed her because I'm dreaming. I followed her around the hospital. We're running, we're playing all through the hospital, but we're getting further and further and further away from my room. She's drawn me further out, but we're still playing. I ran into one room and it was an older lady there, and basically she looked at me and she was like, you're not supposed to be back here, get back, they're trying to trick you, they're trying to keep you. So I believed her. Oh, excuse me, got something in my throat. I believed her. I ran back to my room. Let me get some water. So I'm running back to my room. I get back there in time. I jump. I see my body on the bed. I jump back in my body, and I wake up. It was morning. As soon as I jumped back in, it's morning. But I had just been running through the hospital and it was completely dark and the lady scared me. So that's why I got back. And so, my mom comes in the room. She was working. She was working that night. And so she came in the room in the morning, but, so she can spend some time with me versus being on the other side of the hospital. So I tell my mother what happens, and she's like, oh, and I described the lady to her. She was like, oh, that sounds like you're describing Miss So-and-so. She picked me up because in my dream I could walk, but I couldn't walk because I had just had surgery on my foot. So I had to be carried. So my mother carried me, and she carried me to the lady's room to show me that the lady wasn't there. The lady had already passed away. And my mother was very comfortable telling me that because she's just comfortable with those type of things. She's comfortable around death. She never hid death from us or anything like that. But basically the lady had passed away, and my mother explained to me that the ghosts were trying to trap me wherever the other world was, and the lady was helping me get back. And that's what my mother also told me, like, I have to be careful about traveling in my sleep. And I have talked to a lot of other psychics and mediums after that. Apparently I am a traveler and I take off in my dreams, so I always have to be careful and get back so I don't get lost. Now I if I'm traveling in my dreams and I know that I'm traveling, I have to leave myself kind of like breadcrumbs to get back, especially if it's somewhere new. When I know it's one of those type of dreams, because there were other things in that dream to let me know that it was a different type of dream, but I was just too young to understand it at the time. So yeah, little girl tried to snatch me up into this other ghostly world.
About 20 years ago, my dad converted this carport area that we had in our backyard into a casita, which was essentially just like a studio apartment that had a kitchenette on one side with the bedroom area, and then on the other side was the living space with the bathroom. Over the years, like my brother, my cousin, my grandparents all lived back there. And then when I turned 18, I got to move back there. When it was my turn, the carpet was really gross, so I ripped it up and I painted the concrete black and I sprinkled glitter all over to look like stars and the universe. So I'm like 2021, my boyfriend at the time is spending the night with me. We're both asleep. It's summertime. And where the bedroom is, like with the kitchenette, is the AC unit like right above you, which is really loud. And I had curtains that were separating that living space from the bedroom space. And I heard something on the other side of the curtains. But I'm like paralyzed. I can't move, but I can see something moving on the other side of the curtains, and I can hear like squelching, like gushy, something on the other side of the curtains. And I see like
because there was like 4 panels of curtains, and I can see them opening up and a man's face emerges, and he's got this like blonde buzz cut and these bright blue eyes, and his eyes were like really big and wide and like a shit-eating grin. And he starts laughing and just has this like most sinister look on his face, and he's just still sitting there in the curtain area, and he like slowly starts to like walk towards me, and I can hear that squelching, and it's his feet on the concrete, and I'm still paralyzed, and he gets like right here in my face, and he's just laughing, and then he retreats back to the other side of the curtains. And at this point, like, he's still behind the curtains, and I'm able to move a little bit, and I wake my boyfriend up, and I'm sobbing, crying, freaking the fuck out. And so he jumps up, he turns all the lights on, every single door is locked, all the windows are shut, there's no one in there, it's just him and I. So he is like, it was a bad dream, go back to sleep. And I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe it was, because I've always had night terrors my entire life. I still have them. So I go back to sleep, and it happens again. And this time he's like coming through the curtains and running at me, and I can hear the squelching, and he's going like the Grinch, like rah, 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 in my face. And this boy is barking. He is freaking out, and I'm freaking out, and my boyfriend wakes up again because I'm freaking out. And again, there's no one in there but us, but I can still see the man, because at this point, like my boyfriend at the time opened up all the curtains, and he's like, Amanda, see, there's no one in here, because I won't get off the bed. And I can see the man in the corner of the room. He's still there, and there's these wet marks all over the concrete leading to him. And the man is laughing because my boyfriend's like walking past him and not seeing him, but I'm still seeing him. So I eventually he just disappears. Like, I didn't get any sleep that night. He was just always in the corner of the room. The next morning I got up and I saged the whole room and I cleansed it the best that I could, and he never came back. But I still do have night terrors all the time of like shadow beings and them talking to me in my sleep, or waking me up, or trying to pull me off the bed, or pull my blankets off the bed, or try to take me somewhere. Like, I have them all the time. So if you want to hear more stories, I've got a lot of stories.
Tell me about the weirdest dream you've had that you don't actually think was a dream at all.
Oh, I have a lot of these, but I'm going to start with the one that sits closest to my heart. So a few years ago, my dad passed, and when he did, I definitely went batshit crazy. I begged for this man, and I definitely wouldn't say ask because it was begging. I begged for him to visit me. And for 3 months, every single night, not a goddamn word, not a face, not even like a little vibe of him being there. And then all of a sudden, one night, 3 months later, I have this dream where it doesn't even feel like I'm in a dream space. It felt familiar. The apartment that I was in looked familiar. I'd never been in it. I don't think I've ever seen it in my other dreams. I have pretty consistent, like, dreams that happen over and over again. At least the spaces do, but that's your subconscious, you know? Anywho, I'm in this dream space that doesn't really, like, feel like a typical dream space, and then I see my dad. And it just didn't feel like just another dream person, I guess. Like, the energy was different. I like knew it was him in this dream. And again, it didn't feel like a dream, but there he was. No words were exchanged. We just walked to each other and we hugged. His back was facing the hall. I was facing the hall. And I just remember thinking that that was the last time that I was ever going to see him. No words were exchanged. He never said this. It just felt like he was saying to me with a hug, I'm here with you, but you're not going to see me in your dreams again. Which sucked because it was also the first time that I saw him in my dreams. So, like, how are you going to give me, like, this little snippet and then be like, sorry, bud, I'm off to better places? Well, I hope he was off to better places anyhow. I don't know. I still got, like, a weird thing about how the afterlife works. But I digress. The hug was wonderful. It felt like it lasted for hours. Obviously, it didn't last for hours. He turns around, starts walking down this hall, turns left into this bathroom, and I follow him. And as soon as I turn left, I can see that there's nobody in the bathroom. And I remember walking in and even double checking in the bathtub to see if he was, like, laying in it. And he wasn't in there. And I just fell to my knees and I started crying. And I woke up crying. Since then, I've never had a dream like that again. I haven't had a single dream with him in it, and it's been years now. So, I don't know. It definitely felt like a message. It didn't feel like a real dream. And it's still probably the most wild dream that I've had with somebody that's passed away. But Yeah, I don't know. If you want to hear more, let me know. I have so many ghost stories, so many weird dream stories, just so many weird stories.
At all.
Ooh, I got a good one. So this is not my dream. This is a dream that my husband had, but it goes with everything I'm about to tell you. So for as long as I can remember, I have always had a secret fear of mirrors. Can't really explain what it is, but I just know that there are some days when I am in the mirror, I feel as though the person that is looking back at me is not me. And I cannot explain to you why I feel that way. Just know I feel that way. And I never brought this up to anybody because literally what I'm saying, I'm fine with the man in the mirror, like, but I continue to go through life. And one day me and my husband are laying in bed. He's asleep. I'm laying on his chest. We're real cozy. Okay. Until all of a sudden he is shaking like gyrating. All right? It's almost like he's having sleep paralysis. I think that's what it's called. Like he's trying to wake himself up, but he cannot. So, being the good wife that I am, I decided I need to save my man. Let me wake him up. Babe, wake up. He finally wakes up and he just like, yo, I just had one of the most scariest dreams. He proceeds to tell me about his dream. It was exactly how we were laying. We were in the bed. I was on his chest. We was cozy. Chill. He says suddenly our room door began to open very, very slowly. So as he's looking at the door, I'm asleep on his chest, all right? So he's looking at the door, and as the door is opening, he said he sees me in the doorway. And I'm serving a mean, creepy smile. So naturally, he is scared because he's like, if you on my chest, who the hell is this in the doorway? So my baby began to fight for his life. I guess he was beating both our ass because he didn't know who to beat. And honestly, I don't blame him because when he told me that story, I legit got goosebumps. I got chills because prior to him telling me this, I was already having my own little episode with my bathroom mirror. There's something weird going on, something strange in the neighborhood for sure.
At all.
So I've always been a pretty vivid dreamer. I'm pretty sure that one of my first memories is actually a dream. And I usually know that I'm dreaming when I'm dreaming. So I guess it's more of a lucid dream. And I usually could forcefully wake myself up if the dream turned into a nightmare. But I literally have so many of these stories. I can tell more if you guys are interested in them. But when I was younger, I used to dream so vividly that there were things that I could not tell if they were dreams or memories. I used to have like this reoccurring dream of this huge store. The best way I can describe it was sort of like a mix between a Kmart, a Walmart, maybe a Costco. Like it was just a big, really big store, but I can't even begin to tell you what they sold in there. But it was a reoccurring place in my dream, and I used to think that it was a real store until kind of recently I had a dream about it, and the store was like run down and like almost abandoned, and that's when I finally realized that that was not a real place. I was dreaming that place the entire time. And I'm pretty sure that this grocery store or whatever was in a town that I created in my dreams. Like I said, I still do dream very vividly. And there was one point when I was dreaming a whole town. Like it had a mall with a Sears in it. It had a Chuck E. Cheese. It had a pizza place. It had a pet store inside of somebody's house. It had a McDonald's with a play place. But like these are all things that I enjoyed as a child. But when I would go to bed and I would dream about them, they would be so very vivid that they would integrate into my memories. And I would think that this was the actual place that I had been to. But really, they were all just my dreams. And after a while, it did get kind of like unsettling because I was remembering these things that did not happen. I was remembering these places that did not exist. Yeah, and I just want to know if anybody else has any experiences like that where you created worlds in your dreams, and if you guys want to hear more stories about my dreams and nightmares.
Tell me about the weirdest dream you've had that you don't actually think was a dream at all.
Oh my gosh, it's my time to shine. Bet. Okay, so everybody who knows me, like, they know that I'm a dreamer. I dream every single night without fail. If I'm not dreaming, it's because something's wrong or like I'm sick or something. So like my dreams get all messed up. But I do generally dream every single night. And my dreams are always crazy. They're always random. They're always just, there's always a bunch of stuff going on. But I think there's only been one dream that has stuck with me my entire life. And it was this very specific dream from when I was 8 years old. So, day one,
because I had the dream twice. So day one in my dream, I wake up in my house, but it's nighttime. And for some reason, like in my dream, I look out the window, and there's this monster, like outside of the window, and the monster starts running towards my building. So like for some reason, I'm already knowing that the monster's about to come get me. So like I start panicking. So I started running. I started trying to run out the building first, like down the stairs to because at the place that I was living, there was a front entry door and another entry door. So I was trying to run out the building so I could run out the other door before the monster came in. Anyways, I was running so long, I got tired in the dream, and so I kind of just crouched down and I just let the monster get me because, I mean, what else am I gonna do? Like, what else? So the monster takes me down to like this layer, but it's like the pits of hell. Like there's fire, there's like the rocks and like everything like that. So there's demons down there, there's monsters down there. Every single bad entity that you could ever think of is down in this layer. And like they're just all just gathered here. Don't know why, but yes, that's where they bring me to, and they're all kind of laughing at me and like scaring me. Like they're purposely scaring me so that I'm scared, and they're like laughing at me. So I think it just raised my adrenaline in real life, and so I ended up waking up because I'm so scared. But whatever, you know. I wake up and it's fine. Gotta go to school. Boom. So now we're on day 2, the next day. Okay, so I go back to sleep the next day. I'm back in my house again. I'm back in my house, and I look out the window again, just as I did the day before, in the same dream. And now there's multiple monsters outside. Okay, so now I'm like, oh my god, like part 2, like here we go again. So I do the same thing I tried to do, and I try to hurry up and go downstairs so I can run out the other way, like the other exit door, but like there are so many of them chasing me, and like they're coming from here, like they're coming from everywhere. And so of course I get tired of running again because I'm not about to spend the whole damn dream running. So I crouch down like this again, and I get taken by the monsters. So I get dragged back down to the pits of hell, and they're all laughing at me and scaring me again. But all of a sudden, like the biggest demon or whatever this was came up to me and looked me dead into my eyes, like in my soul. I felt this in real life. Looked me in my eyes and called me by my real name and literally said, "Labria, if you have this dream again, we are going to kill you." So yes. So then, right after he said that, I instantly woke up and I was crying, and I was literally praying and praying and praying and begging, like, please do not ever let me have this dream again. Like, please, please, please. Like, I try not to think about the dream all day because I didn't even want the images in my mind of the dream, because I just really feel like probably the day that I die, like in this life, I'm probably going to have that dream for the 3rd time, and they're probably going to kill me. So yeah.
Tell me about the weirdest dream you've had that you don't actually think was a dream at all.
I woke up in Attack on Titan. This Attack on Titan. Okay, so I'm having a mirage of dreams, right? I wake up, and I don't wake up here. But where I wake up, I know I'm not dreaming because it doesn't feel like a dream, but I know I'm not here where I'm supposed to be. So when I gain consciousness, I am a person on the squad who is supposed to be fighting Titans. Bro, the first thing I remember seeing is just stone flying across my face. I'm in a castle with my squad, and there's a Titan. Oh my God, it makes me want to cry. There was a Titan attacking the castle that we were at. So immediately, I looked to the left, because it flew this way. I looked to my left. There is an eyeball. A huge eyeball looking at me. I want to cry. I swear I want to cry. Like this. This exact image looking at me through a castle wall. So in 2 seconds, I realize I am somewhere I'm not supposed to be. I cannot get back to here, but I am somewhere very real, and I am not dreaming. I realized this in 2 seconds, and I sincerely came to the conclusion that I'm just stuck. I'm stuck here with Titans. And whoever I am volunteered to kill these. got me fucked up. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna run. Like, I'm gonna go hide. Fuck everybody. I'm not protecting nobody from no. I'm gonna hide. I see a little like stairs, winding stairs to go upstairs to another thing. I'm like, oh, I should go up there. But I was like, no, don't be that dumb white girl in movies where you go up the stairs when you should go downstairs. So I'm like, oh, I need to go somewhere else. So I'm trying to find somewhere to hide. This man grabs me, not the Titan. This other dude grabs me, and he pulls me somewhere behind something, and we're crouching talking. He's like, what's going on? What's wrong? I'm like, yo, straight up, my man, I'm not supposed to be here, bro. I am not the one you think I am. I am not supposed to be here. Next thing I know, I see bodies flying. Like the Titan is like coming in there, yo. The bodies are flying. The hand comes in, coming this way. Before it could grab me and my friend, I wake up. I wake up here now. Because I wasn't in a dream, but I wasn't here, but I was somewhere like here. Very real. Very real. If a dream is so real where you know you're not coming back here, oh my God, that is the worst feeling ever. To be trapped somewhere that you know isn't a dream. Oh God. Oh my God. And it took me so long after that to watch Attack on Titans anymore because I was like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know if someone over there found me and tried to switch places with me or something, but that shit was real. That shit happened, and I couldn't get back here. I felt trapped there. Very real. I couldn't get here. I still haven't finished Attack on Titans. You can tell me what happened at the end. I do not care. I couldn't watch that show for a very long time, and I still haven't finished it. I have more. I have more of these stories, but we're going to start with that one.
Okay. There was this one time 1 year ago, probably a couple months, but 1 year ago probably. So I'm sleeping like any other normal day. But while I'm asleep in my dream, I noticed that I'm dreaming and I'm asleep. Like I'm aware that I'm sleeping right now, dreaming. And as I'm dreaming, it's a couple people I know. We're in a hotel, like, and the hotel I guess is on lockdown or something, but something about it was like dark and evil. And as I'm aware that I'm sleeping and dreaming, I try to wake up. I have a phone. I see a phone. I run to the phone. I put my number in. I dial the number and it answers. And once it answers, I'm like, wake up. But every time I said wake up, a dark voice said wake up every time. I don't know what it was. I was pretty scared. Every time I kept saying wake up, wake up, wake up. Every time I said wake up, a dark voice kept saying wake up too at the end of the line. But like probably the sixth or 10th time, probably fifth, sixth, I don't know, I woke up. Well, as soon as I woke up, I just woke up and it was a candle lit in my room. Well, it was like lit in the room. I was like pretty weirded out. And I felt as though that wasn't a dream. Like I felt as though like there was actually something there with me. Like I don't think it was a dream. Like it had to be something.
And also, I just wanted to say that every single dream that I've ever had, I write down. And for some reason, it can be a year or 6 years later, it always happened in the exact sequence that it happens in my dreams. So this is new to me to tell my dreams on the social media, but I usually keep my dreams as a secret. I will tell my family so they can, be careful, especially if I have like dreams of like weddings or funerals or murky water or anything like that. But it is important to write down your dreams and also try to remember your dreams and write it down because it can be premonition. But for me, every time that I've ever dreamed about something, it usually does come true. So that's just something that I wanted to add to this entire video. And it's not for everyone, not everyone like to talk about their dreams or even, write their dreams down because they just don't care. To them, it's just a dream. But to me, it's not just a dream. So yeah, and I think a lot of people do talk about that too, like writing down your dream and stuff, because I think dreams are important. And a lot of time dreams are premonition. So you have to, pay attention to your dreams. Anyways, see you guys in the next video. Bye.